Okay. All right, y'all. I try to come in. Yes. I'm gonna give y'all a few minutes to come in for somebody to tune in there. It is Wellness Wednesday, y'all. This is me, Dr. Chef, Felicia Ann, here on the Wellness Channel. Apologies, you all. I had to come before you all a little later because I had some very pressing, urgent matters that I had to take care of. Actually, some mental health issues is what they're calling it now. And I was coming up, they called it having a demonic spirit, meaning evil forces that takes over the minds of some people. And so I realized that there are a lot of forces out here today that do not want to see people like myself and others that are really doing this thing from a truly compassionate place and heart, to be able to come before to help the people. But yet they say they want to help the people. What they mean is that they're the only ones that can help the people. And when you get to a place, you all, please, on this Wellness Wednesday with me, when you get to a place to where you allow narcissism and selfishness take place and cause you to be deceived, to think that with all of the sickness that we all have around us, with all of the great families and all the things that's about to come, that one person can do this all by themselves. See, that is the trickery here on Wellness Wednesday, is why I want to focus on mental health, demonic forces. I'm going to correlate that natural with the spirit, which is one. I'm going to do that because it's necessary. All right, now, you guys, someone tuning in. Please look, like and share, because we're gonna hit on it on this Wellness Wednesday. We cannot be about health and wellness and forget about your mental health. You guys, this will probably be the most of the pictures that you will remember of me, Dr. Chef, taking and sharing with you all, and that is me constantly talking and doing this because it's all in the mind. I have, unfortunately, hey, there's Sister Lauren. Hey there, Brother Starks. Hey, how y'all doing? It's good to see you all. And so I'm telling you, I have dealt with this for years, even before I started to doing this work in the ministry. I've seen it in even some in family members, in some of them. I have seen it working in schools. I've seen it working in hospitals. I've seen it on the street, just like some of you all have. And so this is the reason why we had to address these issues. Of course, I wanted to go straight into cooking and doing all this stuff and just giving regiments and things. That's the simple part. That's the easy part, is to put together a regimen and say, eat this. But then if that was the key, you all, then explain to me why so many of us is failing at it. Why so many of us find that challenging to do. It's just to eat your fruits. Think about it. Juice your vegetables and take your herbs. Why do we find it so challenging? We like to use the term addiction. Do we really know what addiction is? I am a certified drug counselor. Yes, I am. And yes, I have seen it with my own eyes. I've been able to compare and I've been able to watch the difference, which is not much of a difference. It's just some are more extreme than others, from those who fall off eating artificial foods and processed foods, and that take in the consumption of too much alcohol and other chemical drugs, versus those that also have mental illness. They both work together. And then when I've realized growing up in a tradition that is considered a Christian tradition, that where everybody from all walks of life were a part of at some point in time in their life, that the reason why, especially for our African American brothers and sisters, the reason why this type of lifestyle became more appealing to us is because of the mental condition of our minds. We had to have something to replace that thought, that frame of mind that would have us in a place to where, whether it's you thinking about your ancestor, whether you're thinking about your condition, your environment, or what's going on that's toxic in the family, you had to have something to distract the mind that we considered positive at the time, that other people that we united together with, we felt that they understood, made you feel like you were family, made you feel like Jesus loves you, that there's a greater call in your life. Now, see, that worked for a people that are oppressed so much because it's clear that it was never in our nature to have to be or feel oppressed or have to feel like we were the last and not the first. In order to feel like, are you guys getting where I'm going on this Wellness Wednesday? Oh, yeah, I'm coming for that mind. I'm coming for it again, y'all, because we can't get around it. This is the reason why it's been difficult. Trying to make sure that I keep my Instagram people on. How y'all doing? See y'all. Let me make sure that I got in. Okay, I got in now, y'all. I'm trying to focus on this and keep the social because I am qualified outside of college, outside of certifications, I'm qualified because I have had to deal with it myself, watching all of the different dysfunctions that take place in our lives. And I often was told, Felicia, by my family members, Fifi, Felicia Ann, Lil Ann, tell us, how is it that you stay so strong? And I'm like, strong? Oh, no, I've gotten upset before. I said, I know what it is to feel like, wait a minute, I got to tell this person something to let them know that, wait a minute, this is not right. But then they say, well, no, we mean, how is it that you forgive? How is it that you wind up getting to a place to where you won't go in and punish a person right away for thinking that it's okay to come up against you or thinking that it's okay? And I was explaining to him, I said, well, first of all, I got God in my life. First of all, I've been saved. I understand that term, saved, to be saved from a whole lot of things that came to destroy my mind too. And the only thing that made me feel comfortable outside of giving reverence to the higher creator, to God, at that time that wished my mind away to not think about everything that came to depress me, or to not think about the meal that I just ate that got my stomach all messed up, that got me feeling some type of way, that got my head just going around in circles, was trusting in God, the creator of this whole world, the creator of outer space. See, it's easier for these type of things to take place when you are not being raised and you are not being able to learn life from a different perspective, or when you have not been taught that you need to be accountable for your actions and what you have done to yourself first and to others. And so what happens? This becomes the greatest platform to get before you all on a social media platform where nobody knows what's going on in your personal life, and put on the front. Act like that because I got on a cute blouse or because I got a smile on my face. Okay, now I'm explaining to you how mental issues take place, how the mind can play tricks on you just because you get a few likes. This is part of the mental illnesses that we get and that we are encountering, and it's on a rampage, y'all, where young ladies that want to be married, and because they see another young lady down there, they think they just constantly show her everything that they got and to go off and to do all of this exploitation is the way that you draw a man. And I mean a good man, when it's not. But let me show you how even that's falsified, because even myself, I've always adorned myself properly. Always had a modest appearance because I was taught that way. I was raised to put my clothes on right and proper. I was raised to, even when you're having your a bad day, to make sure that you remember you are a child of God. And so you don't supposed to go out looking like what you've been through. But what we fail at in that is that also, because we see things first with our eyes, and we think that because of something look like something, I'm going right back to where we are right now, y'all, that we think that that's what it is. And that causes mental problems. That causes confusion in the mind. And when I was coming up, we called that, hey there, Sister Latasha, we call that a strong illusion. We call that manipulation. We call that, in some cases, the lust of the eyes. And so that turns into the lust of the flesh. What is lust? To have a strong desire for something. Whatever it is, it's not just sexual. You can have a strong desire for artificial food because the chemicals and the parasites that I just addressed on Monday about what's eating you is calling for it within you. And because you like, wait a minute, I know this is not good for me. I heard Dr. Chef talk about this. I heard different ones and other wellness coaches talk about this, that what's wrong with my mind? Why come I can't give myself what is the best thing for me? Why is this such a wrestle? Because you suffer from mental illness, which we in turn spiritually call it demonic forces. That's why. And I'm going to encourage those of you all that are spiritual. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? Hey, Nero, good to see you, Queens and Kings. Good to see you all. I'm going to encourage you all to not to fall into that basket of hopelessness. But at the same time, ask for a balanced mind to be able to heal yourself before you try to heal everyone else. I know I did it. I started off. I admit it. I started off always as an infant, as what we do. We try to relate to people according to what we have gone through. Now, it doesn't mean that it's ingenuine or that it's not genuine that you care. But you got to make sure that you're doing that with a balanced mind. You got to make sure that you're not internalizing that so much until you lose your mind. And that's the reason why it's important that when those type of chemical stress disorders come upon our people, why it's so important that we make sure that we take in the proper vitamins that we need. I'm still waiting, y'all, for mine to come through. It's going to be a beautiful thing. This is the reason why it's important that we not forget to take care of our bodies, because so many of us have other responsibilities. This is the reason why and how you can tell when a person has mental disorder. They'll leave everything that they are responsible for, everything that they sign it on a dotted line, everything just for themselves. And we call this narcissism. We call it selfishness. We call it, I'm just putting stuff behind me so I can move forward, so I can be successful, so I can be this, so I can be that. Well, guess what? You can do that. But I can promise you the one thing you can't change, no matter where you go, no matter what you do. And a lot of you all know this, but I'm sharing it for those of you all that have that need to be reminded before you do things that cause yourself for it to be very apparent, rather, that you have a mental issue. And it's very unbalanced and it's very unhealthy. No matter what your job and title is, no matter what you do, then that what happens is that you turn around. The one thing you can't change, you can change your environment, you can change what you eat, you can change everything around. You can change spouses, you can change jobs, you can even say, I'm gonna throw my hand, I'm not gonna take care of these children no more, and you can take off. But the one thing you can't change is you can't change your mind. You can't heal your mind, because that is the first and number one sign that you have a mental problem. And it's very strong. if you think that the decisions that we all make when it is affecting everyone around you, especially on these social media platforms, that means that you are well and that qualifies you to be able to teach and preach and hurt other people in the process, that you are majorly deceived. And the best thing that we can do, you all, is pray for one another. Send out as much positive energy as we can, that the minds will be healed. And I'm telling you all, this is the reason why when you come across so many naturopaths, yes, I'm telling, oh, yes, I am. I have to, because this is part of health and wellness. You have to, as much as possible, practice what you preach. Because it's only a matter of time before the veil is uncovered. And when it's uncovered, sometimes, think about it, you all, that's a good thing. If you never lift up something when you're cleaning to see if it's something that's seeped into, we can use the stove as an example. You're cooking on the stove, you can wipe off the surface, but most times you got to lift up. I have one that you can lift up the whole rail, the racket, because it's crumbs that fall off into it. It's things, it's juice that comes from the soup that can spill over into it. Now, you can't see it right off back with just looking until you go and you pull it up. You pull it out, you uncover it. I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that sugar fell out. I didn't know that sauce fell on the side of that. Oh, wow, it's in the cracks of the oven too. That's how our life is. That's how the mind is too. That's what I'm sharing with you all on this Wellness Wednesday, so your mind can be healed, so your mind can be well. Like, share. This is me. For those of y'all that go, hey, that's the Dr. Barksdale. Yes, and my mind is not giving up. Sister Dorothy, we're the only ones that had the bad connections to be able to get to each other. And we're gonna make it. Guess what? We're gonna have it because my mind is made up. We're gonna have it. And so I'm sharing this with you all because I understand that to whom much is given, much is required. Now that is written, but it's been proven itself to be true. And the truth does stand on its own. It doesn't need me to defend it. It doesn't need, you can debate with it all day long. But the one thing we can say for those of us that's here, that's at least 20 and over, you have lived long enough to be able to see that when something turns out to be true, that you can, the only thing you can do is just choose not to believe it. But it's right there in front of your face. And everybody else sees it. That just means that you're one that's an unbeliever. It just means that you're one that's just dwelling in denial. Oh, well, I know I'm not sick. But yet your heart, the doctor already done gave you the stats, it's only beating at 10%. You can tell yourself all day long that no, it's beating fine, even though you grasping for breath every 5 seconds, every 5 steps that you make. No, I'm good. I'm good. Mental problem. You don't want to have to accept that you need help. You all, the best way we can help each other on this Wellness Wednesday is by being willing to pray and send good messages that we can, that we are here as much as possible, one to another, especially for those of us that are leaders. I'm talking about myself first, because there's so many of us, when you put us up on these pedestals, and when you give all these likes and all that, some can handle it. I can handle it because I know what you just said. Oh, I said something that you like, and that's it. It don't go no further than that. I don't go to sleep dreaming, oh, you know what you call like my, or I don't get mad and say, well, you know what? I saw that there was 62 people on there and only 3 people liked. Maybe they were listening. Mental health. Oh, well, if I don't get this many likes, YouTube ain't gonna pay me. Go find another job. Go find something else to do. This is where we're at now, you all, where our young people are committing suicide because a girl that teased them at school got on social media and she found an outfit that accented all of her godly gifts. and she got 200 likes. And so now the other girl that's been bullied by her, she done posted a picture just being her normal self, and she only got 10 likes. And now she feels like all these strangers that have their own mind issues and got their own vision likes her more than her. So she goes home, think about it, and say they like the bully more than me, even though I'm cuter than her. And now I think I want to take my life. Y'all, mental illness is serious. Demonic forces is real. And I'm here to cast away all of that. I'm saying you can beat this. Only listen to people that are teaching you things according to that is applicable, doable in your life. Write it on the page. I heard a sister call me about 10 o'clock. She wanted to see that I get a donation in the mail, a gift, so that I could be taken away, so that I could go on my vacation. Bless her heart. I'm not going to call her name out. And something said, pick up the phone. My mind told me, no, pick up the phone this time, even though I didn't recognize the number. And she sounded so humble, so meek, and she was just concerned. I could tell she was a mature woman. And yeah, she come from the DC. I can say that there. Boy, I love my DC queens. Y'all some real sisters. I gotta give it to you. Y'all some real queens. But honey, when I tell you, I felt her wrestling in her spirit. I could hear it. Well, I didn't know you would call back. I said, I have to do it. When the spirit leads me to do it, then I have to do it. And so she said, I just want to know, did you get the card? Did you get this? I just want to know because I was looking for you. But I could tell in my mind, as much as she's trying to express to me how she's letting me know that I sent something, because I saw that your daughter passed away in December. I just want to know, did you get it? Because I don't see you on the platform. I don't see you this, I don't see you there. And I had to tell this, unfortunately, I was like, oh, I couldn't tell her that I did. But in order to appease her mind, I had to let her know it's okay, because I could hear the distress in her. I said, it's okay. Matter of fact, you don't even got to pay for your consultation. I'll give you a consultation for free. You don't, I can send you the email. I can show it to you. I can show it to you that I said, oh no, it's okay. I believe you. I can hear you. I can sense you. But when your mind is not right, you don't know what to believe. When you're in distress, you don't know what to believe. When you're desperate, you don't know what to believe. And I'm not saying this to judge anyone, because I have been there in my life too, where I have made some major decisions that's affected my life to this day, because I was in a very tired state, or in a very stressed out state, in an overworked state, in a state of major distractions. And there goes mental illness, starts to seep in. A mental illness, a host seeped into my life. Has the biggest form of narcissism that I ever seen in my life. And I have seen some, y'all. I have turned down plenty of opportunities to be wealthy, rich. This house is nothing. I'm right now in the midst of a battle with someone that doesn't even want me to keep my home. And I have the right to keep it. Yeah, I said it. Because demonic forces are real. Carelessness is real. Mental illness is real. It's real, y'all. So y'all have to make sure that you keep your mind right. Keep it stable, because attacks are going to come when you're doing a good work. Attacks is going to come. But just make sure when you're doing the good work that it's not because of something bad you did. And never allow anyone to make you feel guilty for protecting yourself from demonic forces, from people that have mental illnesses, whether it's diagnosed or not. You know the fruit by the tree, by the fruit that it bears. I shared that with you all before. just last week. You know the fruit. I shared it on Fruitful Friday. Don't try to lie to yourself. Don't ignore the red flags. Don't allow yourself to be distracted. If a person, every time you come across someone and they're telling you, well, I just don't feel like it's necessary. Every time I look up, every Wednesday, you got a salad. Ugh. Do you think that's the person that I'm going to trust to bring me my food? If you that disgusted over the fact that I'm eating a salad, you got to pick with me every day about eating healthy. Then that means that you don't care about me being well. I don't care what that person has to offer. If someone tries to stop and block you from being able to make what you need in order to just get by with your personal everyday life, they don't care. They're out for war to kill, steal, and to destroy you. I know, I'm going through it now. And to protect yourself does not mean, to protect your peace of mind does not mean that you are afraid. But you don't have to be afraid to do it. That means you have sense. You have good sense to make sure that you are not allowing yourself to ignore the red flags when a person showed you that they have mental illnesses, especially if you already are aware that it runs in the family. Does it make you a mean person? Absolutely not. Because the mental illness can be contagious. If something is stressing another that's in your life or that's around you or a coworker on your job or somebody's in a business, if that's stressing you, then that stress is contagious. It has to release itself in order for the body that's carrying the stress to feel free. You ever heard people say, don't use me as your trash can? I can't take all that. Oh man, that messed up my day to hear that. At that point, that means cease. Don't do it anymore because it's toxic. That's the famous word that's going around today, toxicity. I can't be in a toxic relation, can't be in a toxic. And unfortunately, the main ones that's saying it is the ones that's toxic. The main ones that's saying is the main ones that's not allowing the trash man to come and take the trash out of their own minds. The main ones that's hollering that I want to put this behind me is the ones who's making sure that they leave a trail of trash, a trail of trouble, a trail of betrayal. And so that causes mental illnesses when you realize that in real life, we cannot get by with these things. Yes, it affects everybody. So your first obligation is to heal thyself. My first obligation is to heal myself. If I go and binge somewhere and on this Wellness Wednesday and I realize it gives me cramps, all right now, I see y'all. All right now, Sister Dorothy, thank you. Hey, Sister Felicia. Then that means that it's time for me to cleanse myself. And I mean cleanse it good. That means it may be time to fast. Because even spiritually, the way I was raised is that it says some things only come out through fasting and praying. What's praying, y'all? Even for those of y'all that may tune in that may be atheists, come on, y'all. You still think about something. You still meditate on something. See, I've been able to sit down at the seats and the tables of professors in WashU. And anybody know what Washington University is, one of the top colleges out here in Missouri. People come from all over, even the Chinaman. They come and they go to WashU. I have a daughter that's attending WashU now. And I pray for her because I know she's around the minds of the minds. But yes, she's always been smart. But I know that even in the midst of that, mental illness can take place because all these different ideologies, all these different experiences that's coming at her at a young age. And so now everything is clinical for her because she's going into that field of counseling. Yeah, she gets it from her mother and her father. It runs in the family. Nevertheless, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many degrees that are acquired. It doesn't matter what grade school you attend or go to. And no, I didn't have to pay tuition for her. As we say, God just blessed her. But even in the midst of the blessing, you all, you have to be able to have the mentality, the right mind to be able to handle the blessing. You have to be able to take on, you have to learn to be a good steward in the mind and in the spirit in order to know how to distribute the goods that you are blessed with. I've always had in mind, I told you all that from the beginning, that I wanted to be able to set aside a place because you're blessed to be able to set aside something for those who cannot afford herbs and things of that nature. Well, that idea wasn't embraced, but nevertheless, it's going to happen. Somebody asked me why. How is that going to happen, Dr. Chef? I'll answer it. Because my mind is made up. My mind is made up that I'm going to have the blessings to be able to be a blessing to someone else, to help others with mental illnesses, to help others with developmental delays. I have no desire to stock up so much just for me and my family to where I forget about the community. I got a cap that I can live by. It's okay. So if the adversary that have mental illnesses set it up to where my home has to be gone and where you guys can't see this nice kitchen back, or where I can't get to the place to where I can cook and do a cooking show, do you really think it's going to stop me? Do you really think it's going to block me? No. Why, Dr. Chef? Somebody say, why? Because my mind is made up. Your mind has to be made up. We have a lot of people that have their minds made up for the wrong reasons. And it's only just to get glory for self. It's not for the community. And some people only pair. I'm learning even in this game, they only pair with others just to get their clout. I'm not a clout chaser. Understand what a true leader is. I can't do that. I wasn't raised that way. Y'all know what it means. When I get to clapping, you know what that means. I'm not clapping because I'm going to fight nobody. They come to me and say, look, talking to some of them gangster brothers on say, no, y'all got to eat healthy. No, put that bottle down. Do what you got to do. I'm not getting ready to do that. No, I'm clapping back at evil spirits. Mental illnesses. It cannot have all our people. It cannot. It will not. It will not destroy all our people, because there are a few of us that's left here that are truly genuine about this, whether we get paid or not. Don't get it confused. Of course, we need to get paid something because we have to live too. But I mean, for those of us who's not greedy, those of us who really do have a spirit of giving and that understands that you are blessed with plenty so that you can be more of a blessing to someone else. Do you really think someone can take that away from me? Absolutely not. Even if I don't have a house, even if I will walk the streets, still encouraging somebody not to give up. I would do that. I can go to the park and do that. I used to do that all the time. Remember, you all, my Instagram followers? You can look on some of the videos now. I left some of them up on purpose so they can see my transition in my life. Not because I'm hooked on anything that's foul. Not because I am addicted to mental illnesses. But because I want you to see that even with the changes of life, even when life comes to take and smash you, and make you feel like everything that you're doing, as one person that I knew years ago told me when I was young, after I was hit by a drunk driver. They thought I was down for the count. And I did too for a minute. But see, I prayed a prayer over my entire body before I had went out that day. And I didn't even feel like doing it, y'all. That's just keeping 1,000. Then I tell y'all I'll keep it 1,000. I didn't feel like praying that day over my body. I'm like, well, I got to pray on my body. I already prayed. I've been praying since I was a little girl. Some say, no, pray over your body. So I did. I cleansed myself, and I prayed over my body. Well, when that night I go out to get some business cards. And rest assured, as I'm sitting at the light, a drunk driver run right in the back of me. And I promise you that it felt like an explosion. One of my other business associates had called me just right then and there while I'm sitting at a red light, and she heard it. Just so happened she was on the other side on the next street, and she knew where I was at, and she came to me. But I'm telling you, I wound up jumping out the car, even though it had jumped me. I mean, totaled my car. I jumped out it so fast, like this, and I look back, like, what in the world? And right as I was getting ready to move, it was a brother and his daughter that got out of the street and came to kitchen. And right as I went to look at them, my body froze, but then it buckled because my nervous system had shut down on me. During that accident, I suffered a bulging disc, pain throughout my entire body. They rushed me to the hospital. I said, you can't give me medicine. You can't give me something that's going to take me out. I'm just going to have to take the pain because I got children to take care of. I have a special needs child. I can't do this. No, you can't drug me. Do you have something natural? They got a neck brace around me and everything. That doctor looked at me like, woman, you must be crazy. No, all we have is codeine 3. I said, that's not going to help anyway. My body does not take to medicine anyway. I said, you have nothing that won't knock me out just for a little pain? Just for this pain that I'm feeling? They said, I'm sorry, ma'am. No, we do not. Well, I began to get more and more into the naturopathic way at that point. I did. I thought I was going to lose my mind because I knew at this point I'd already done enough study to understand the impact that being hit and rammed in the back that hard could do to me. It could shut me down. What kept you, Dr. Chef? Somebody asked me. This is my testimony. Somebody asked, hey, that's Sister Tyra. Hey there, Sister Felicia. Hey, Queens. Hey there, my Instagram followers. Hey there. Hey, my niece is on there. Hey, Kristen. How you doing? It said, my mind. I remembered that I had prayed. I obeyed God. And I had prayed. I was like, oh, man, I hope this prayer work. Back to mental illness, you all. The mind is everything. And I said, okay, now this is a time that it's going to have to be proven. But all I could hear is that now you can only use the natural. So all praises be to God. I wind up already knowing and meeting Loretta Ship, one of my mentors in health and wellness. She's a holistic wellness coach herself. Her only shop in East St. Louis had natural remedies. People were still not, some folks are still asleep on it, y'all. And she said, I know this oil company that you can go that's good for back pain, that's good for helping with this, and good for helping with that. Well, I'd already purchased some, but I didn't know to the extent because I wasn't an aromatherapist at that time. I was just still learning about the essential oils at that time and how powerful. Somebody say, what essential oils is that? I shared it to you guys many before. That is youngliving.com. Dr. Chef, why are you promoting them and it's not all the way black on? It works. They still work. They have the highest ratio of healing. I'm going to keep saying that. Some people don't want me to say that. I'm going to keep saying it because it works, y'all. Go get it. Go ahead and get online and get it. And it's the best, easiest application to the body. I sat in the ortho ease and I anointed my back. I oiled myself down. I had to because I didn't have the help that I needed at that time. But before you know it, the moment my sisters found out about it, because they didn't see me at that bus stop, they didn't see me watching the kids on the corner, they said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where's Felicia at? Where's she at? And then they came and they got me. And I was like, oh, no, I can't, I got to do this. I still, in my mind, I've lost my mind. I still was telling myself I could do the work. I can get all 40 children ready for school. I can do this. I can do that. And still wouldn't ask for help, y'all. In this moment, that is a mental problem. See, I can use myself. That was over 15 years ago. In that moment,
That was a mental imbalance with, but because I had gotten so used to practicing doing what I was doing, taking care of my children at that time up until 8 years, that I told myself, no matter how shut down my system is, I'm going to be able to get back up. And by the way, I prayed too. When they say that prayer works, prayer changes things. Well, the truth is there's other things that have to be done as well on top of prayer. And that's why it said faith. You can believe something in the mind, but it also states that faith without works is dead. And so because I applied the work, I had to go buy the stuff. I had to go get the essential oils, you all. I still had to apply it. My sisters them still came in. After that, different ones, my neighbors, the women came in and said, wait a minute, no, we coming in to help you. We don't care what nobody say. I'm going to get this child. We're going to, the village came through and said, no, we're going to help you. But they had families to take care of too. So I had to still put in the work. And so I began to walk over a mile just to get to the nearest chiropractor, in pain, crying, in pain. Somebody said, what was your car? It was totaled. We had to wait for the insurance to clear. Thank God he had insurance. I just had found out just not long ago. I didn't even have insurance, didn't even know it. Wasn't informed. Mental illnesses. So I could have gone through the same thing just a few months ago up until now if I wouldn't have found out. See, but God, when you have a spiritual, when you're not operating on the backs of demonic forces, you have a caring heart. No matter how you think somebody done wronged you for doing wrong. That's how you know when there's a mental spot, when you think it's okay to cause harm to other people that have done nothing but truly help you. But your mind has to be ready to receive that help, you all. You have to be willing to do what is necessary, even though it's not what you are used to help yourself. So if I say, well, you're lacking in vitamin D. If you are, I'm going to tell you right now, if you are vitamin D3 deficient, your brain does not operate in its fullness. And guess how many of that is that of us? That's according to the last stats that I've seen from the MDs, the naturopaths and all, about 90% of us. Because what they're doing to the air, what they're doing with the sun. We're not getting in. Most of us is inside on these computers. Anybody that you know that have to constantly work, and this is not to criticize, this is to help you doing this Wellness Wednesday. Anybody that is on a computer all day long inside, no real sunlight, it is causing deficiency in your brain. Yeah, you heard me. So that means what I tell all my secretaries, all my teachers, everyone that's behind a desk, hear me on this Wellness Wednesday. Take your break. Let go of that computer and go have your eyes redilated into some sunlight. If you can't go outside, then by all means, open up the window. You don't have a window. Go outside. Get some type of vitamin D. Well, Dr. Chef, what happens if I'm in a cold environment? There ain't no sun out. Good question. You need some highly potent vitamin D3 vitamins. And when you get your next off day and off time, then that also means then that you need to be finding yourself going to a park or sitting out on your porch somewhere safe. Get you some vitamin D3. Yes, that's good, Laura. She said, I'm outside now in my garden. Absolutely beautiful. Yes, do that at least for 20 minutes, at least. And by the way, yes, you do need to be able to take in enough of sulfur and calcium and magnesium also. They have real organic magnesium out. You all get online and get you some magnesium so that it can absorb within the bones, because there is a scripture that says, can these bones live? Why? I asked the question, why did they ask, could Lazarus' bones live? Because the minerals is in the bones. The way the body stay afloat, think about it, without the structure. Even with a car, the car there's a frame there. The body that's set on it, and I know it because, Kristen, you know your dad, My brother used to work at Chrysler for about a good 7 to 8 years, and he would explain to me how they made the cars and how they make the frame first, which for us would be considered your bones, and how well the parts were strewed in and put together for the frame. That determines, and the wheel axle determines whether or not the car is going to be able to hold up once you lay the body on top of it. Well, our flesh is our bodies. And of course, yes, naturally, the reason why you all hear some people being fixated on us being in our BMI is because they figure, oh, okay, yeah, not just because it looks good, but there are those who just only focus on the look, the frame. Oh, look at her frame. Look at her shape. Oh, look at his build. It's not good enough to look at the outer body. The frame, the inside, the structure of the strength of the bones is what will determine whether or not you will be healthy. So you have to feed your body according to the bone health, not according to your flesh health and how shapely I can be. That's part of that comes after you have nourished your bones. See, people with mental problems will only focus on what your body look like. Did y'all catch that? If there is somebody said, well, Dr. Chef, well, what if they just don't have understanding? That's not it. It's called the lust of the eye. I told you I'm going to intertwine the natural with the spiritual, the mind games that are played on people. No, trust me. Anybody that's focusing mostly on you and how you look in your BMI has a lustful demon, demonic force problem within their flesh. That's what it's mostly about. This is when you will find people that constantly attack overweight people. Oh yeah, I said it. Challenge me on it. It's not just about being fat. Not at all. Anytime you hear someone going in, I'm going to say it again, and they can be fat themselves, so-called fat, overweight themselves, and they're going in. I know it because I just had a nurse that I spoke to just the other evening, stating that she is being called fat by her husband, and he fat too. Mental problems. Thankfully, she knows enough to understand that there is a mental problem. But I understood that caused some distress on her because she's given 20-something years of her life of marriage, given children, and she's worked hard. But just to be called fat, and I'm not going to say the other word. What's going on there, you all? Somebody tell me what's going on. I tell you what's going on. A mental problem. Demonic forces have taken over. Parasites have taken over the mind. Those parasites have a spirit and an energy of their own. And so what I have to do, speak life into that broken sister, queen, mother, nurse, to explain to her, you realize what was talking to you, correct? She said, yeah, I know. Well, unfortunately, that's going to end in a divorce because she's taken all that she can take. Is it my job to convince her to stay, to do death through part because she can't handle, she's taken all of the mental abuse that she can possibly take? Absolutely not. Oh, Dr. Chef, how you say that? You're a minister yourself. Don't you believe it? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But if the person is not willing to get the help that they need and they are displaying hate, no appreciation, just because they can say that the wife have 10 or 15 more extra pounds on them because they're not in their BMI, because they don't look like a porno star. Don't believe the hype, y'all. Y'all know underneath these clothes, I'm very slim and trim and I'm in my BMI. Do you think that means that I am above being caught in a divorce? Absolutely not. I've been divorced already. So if it was just about the body, if it was just about how good you can make the flesh feel, and then so much so to where people are being attacked for having an extra body, if it was about having a good personality and good spirit, if it was about support, if it was about making sure that one be healthy, then that means that I should be married for the rest of my life, correct? The answer is yes. But not if you're dealing with somebody with mental illness. Not if you're dealing with demonic forces that are real. Not if you're dealing with narcissistic behavior. Not if you're dealing with someone that is not healed. No, that person has to go heal thyself in order to be able to be a good mate or spouse or the best. And at this point, that means that they are not qualified to teach you a doggone thing. Yeah, I said it. You do best to go to a 9-to-5 job. You do best to go and get all the counseling that you need. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I know what I have experienced in my own life. I know what I'm going through now. I know what I'm hearing coming from others that I have to counsel on a regular basis. I knew my test would come too. I'm not above being tested. But God knows He equipped my mind to know the difference between a healthy mind and an unhealthy mind, to know the difference between one that has demonic forces and one that has more of a spirit of God. He made sure that I understood that. Somebody said, well, Dr. Chef, well, how did you miss? How did you get by? How did you miss this? Distraction. It's easy to ignore red flags when you are distracted, when you are putting in the work, when you're in the grind, when you are taking care of different households, when you are taking care of churches, when you are taking care of family and loved ones. We are the best candidates to get caught up with people with mental problems, with high levels of manipulation within their spirits, with legions of demons that take over their minds, with self-righteousness people that know how to put on a really good, love bomb is what they calling it. I'm learning it, y'all. Love bombing. They try to rush and catch you up, to hire you on to something, or rush to try to marry you. Always be careful with that, ladies. Be careful with that, men. Don't ever be so caught up and so much in a rush to be able to try to get someone to love you or to be in your corner without assessing first. So I'm not against anyone that learns how to have relations and get the chance to know a person before, no matter what's going on. Wait. Find out where they are mentally first. Find out. And if you know you have a lot going on and a lot of distractions that's able to keep you, or somebody's trying to keep you working to the point to where they're trying to divert the attention off of them, then that's a red flag. That's a major one right there. See, I had never experienced that before. So now I have something else to teach about. Now I have a testimony that I can share to help someone else so that they don't lose their mind. But wait a minute, but I thought, no. This is the reason why you have to take your DHA EPA. Find the best plant-based version of it that you can. And it's sad when we have the help that we need and we won't even utilize it yourself. It's sad. That's when you know that the mind is extremely depressed, that the mind is just completely gone, to where you have what it takes to heal the body, and you still can't find yourself. You still can't figure out how to heal it because you won't let nobody help heal you. Clearly, you have lost the ability to do it for yourself. And it's quite understandable for someone like myself and others that work in the field. It's quite understandable for other people that are truly compassionate about working in the ministry. See, I've been doing this since I was a little girl, helping people all my life. I've been trained to do this as well, no matter what it costs me. Others can say, I can do this to the day that I die. But of course, it's easy to say that if you've only been in the game for about 5 or 6 years. But once you make it your lifestyle and you've been in it for a lifetime, then I ain't got to prove it to you. My work has already. And not based off of social media. Not based off of that. I ain't got to pull people out to ask them nothing. I have my own family to contest to that. I have my own, those who are willing and ready, that's not suffering with too much stress disorder, that have been willing, they have experienced what a healing is. But it's not my place to judge you all on this Wellness Wednesday. It's not my place. I heard somebody tell me it's their place to judge. I said, what? Find that in the scriptures for me. I said, I know about the scripture that says in the last days that the saints will judge the world. But if you're not professing to be a saint, meaning your life is not your life journey so thus this far has not shown that you've been entirely reckless, been completely just careless with people's lives. I'm not talking about incidences in one another's lives. I'm talking about you don't have a track record of caring for people for at least 10, 20 years plus. And yes, it is true that there are those who have done it less and they still have a caring heart and nature about them. That's true. But I can promise you this, they won't be spewing out toxic things out of their mouth and then turn around and using reverse psychiatry and trying to make you feel like, oh, well, this is what God wants. This is what our people get upset about. This is the reason why people don't want to be part of religion and church. Y'all done heard me talk about it before, just a little bit. But now that I got my own, I can say it now. This is why a lot of people don't, and this started before COVID. This is the reason why people don't want to go to church. They're getting sick and tired of the hypocrisy. They didn't expect for everybody to be completely sin-free, and meaning never to do anything wrong. But what they don't expect is for the very people that's talking to them about what you've done wrong and how you've been sinful and how you need God and how you need a law and how you need Buddha and you need all these great people to help you because you're so bad of a person. They don't expect for you to be doing the same thing that they're doing behind closed doors. Come on now. Somebody put in the chat, hypocrisy. That's a hypocrisy when you find out that there's a person that's practicing high levels of hypocrisy. This is the number one sign of mental illnesses. It's not even the same as making a mistake. It's not the same as having one sin underneath your belt. It's when you're doing it on a regular basis and putting yourself out here on social media like you the holiest of them all. Or like I made a mistake years ago when you know you just made that mistake 1 minute ago. And then you turned around and you judged everybody else for the same thing that you did even worse. See, I can't talk about Lizzo. I can't talk about her just because she's overweight and she is exploiting herself the way she is. No, it's not considered a modest image. But I can't act like I have never, ever done anything in my time that could be judged. Judge not lest you be judged the same. I have to think about where she at in her mind. This is what true ministry do. This is what a true heart of love and compassion do before you tear that woman down. She is somebody's child. She is somebody's daughter. Yeah, I said it. And I'm in my BMI. Before you tear these people down, see, I know this is the reason why you have to separate. Y'all separate from the toxicity. Separate from that brings your mental down, that stops you from thinking in a loving and caring way. With loving kindness have I drawn thee. Anybody that's tormenting you and telling you that you're too nice and you're too this, that means they're too evil. And that means they have a mental problem. Let me plug in my thing, make sure that it's in right. That means that there is a mental problem somewhere. It's okay to identify it. It's the only way you can save your life. There's a scripture that says, save yourself from this untoward generation. Well, do so. You have the right to. What happens when you're on the plane? What do they teach you to do? When you're on the plane, even if you have a baby. I remember taking all of my children to Maui. Somebody said, wow, Dr.Chef, Maui. That was over about 15 years ago. Well, right about 15 years ago. They were all little. And of course, with us being melanated people, first thing they ask, are y'all in the military? Are y'all in the military? I got tired of getting asked that. Y'all in the military? Y'all in the military? And I'll tell them, I said, no, but we are in the army of the Lord. He had business to take care of. Got a chance to stay for a while. But the person that I was going there with, mind couldn't really truly conceive. Faith wasn't as great to be able to keep up with the work that was needed in order to just live out there. And that was my job to identify that. And not ashamed for not being able to stay out there and do all of the necessary work that it was going to take to do it, because we had learned quick that all of the natives out there had 3 and 4 jobs. The kids were running free because it wasn't nothing known of them having high rates of sex trafficking at that time, or children coming up missing. Them kids was running free, knocking at the door. I was in the condo. They knocking the door. Can your kids come out and play? And I'm like, no. Where I come from, they just can't run loose. But that was in their environment, in their minds, what their upbringing was that we can run free. We're not in the high crime area. We're not on an island that is known for crime or kidnapping like that. So the parents felt free enough to allow their children to run around the condo and run up and down the street and do whatever they want to. But in my mind, I'm thinking, the devil is a lie. My baby's not going to be out there running around and knocking door to door. And so I have to tell, and that little girl came back 10 times because she was used to getting a yes when she knocked at the door to ask to play with kids. Now we say, that little girl, what the mama at? What? You know how I was like, where the mama at? That don't make no sense. This girl's about 4 or 5 years old and she out here knocking on strangers' door. And we just got here in town. But no, that was her norm. I'm from dry land. Yeah, that was sweet. Yes, it was. That was her land. She was used to being on that island, being able to run around and no harm come to her. And so all I could do is think about what's in my mind to do if I see a child running loose like that. And here it is, they're not of age and ain't no mom and daddy around. I started praying for the child. I said, Lord, please bless this baby. This condo got way too many people up in it. I don't know where to begin, but I'm trying to find. I'll take her little hand. I said, now where do you live, baby? So I could find your mama. And you know what that little girl told me? No more than 5 years old. Oh, my mom at work. Y'all know I got to do it. Y'all know I got to. I'm like, oh my God. Oh no. No. I'm like, okay, where's your big sister, brother? I don't have one. Okay, shut down Instagram. Transfer over to Dr.Chef, Felicia and Wellness Channel, because it's gone out. They didn't know I had that much patch. That much. So Instagram is down, y'all. And that's gonna go run and boot it right back up super quick. And I'll not see my charge. But it's okay, you all. This will be posted afterwards, so you all will be able to see it. And so I'm telling you about the difference in the mentality and how you're raised. I had enough information gathered to me for anyone that's ever come close to me or anyone that's ever been in my life. The first thing I do is I start when the first chance that I get, when it's safe to do so. And timing is everything. Timing is wisdom. And have wisdom means that you have to have a healthy mind. It does not mean that you won't ever make mistakes and errors. God knows I made my fair share of errors in my life. But what it means is that you won't be constantly repeating the same thing, expecting different results, meaning that's the definition of insanity, you all. That's a mental health problem. That's parasites. That's demonic forces coming to make you not understand that right is right and left is left. Up is up, down is down. If ever you start this and come across somebody that's challenging that, you know. Y'all know what we call him. Yeah, that brother crazy. Yeah, that sister. Yeah, she done lost her mind. Yeah, she done lost her mind. Yeah, Yeah, y'all like, oh yeah, bless her Lord. It's the mothers at the church that say, bless her Lord. So y'all understand, on this Wellness Wednesday, I was compelled. I didn't even know what I was going to speak about. I'm grabbing books, the Live books, I'm finna teach y'all the vitamin mineral book. Yeah, that's my jewel book. I shared this before with you all, probably the end of last year. I never shared this book with you. This is from a doctor that almost lost his dad from a heart attack. Good Daily, Dr. Living Good, rather, is his name. I've been studying over a lot of their material, stood out to me. Made sense. But then some said, no, you're finna inspire again. I heard in my mind something said, no, you're getting ready to motivate people and make them understand the difference between mental problems, a healthy mind and an unhealthy mind. I don't care how many fruits and vegetables someone say that they eat. I don't care how healthy and how many answers that they say that they have to your longevity. What is having the answers that you don't even apply to yourself? What good is it? It's only good for someone else and not for you. If it isn't that selfless. But that's not wise. I'm going to go back to on my way to Maui, those years ago. In my mind, I'm thinking, Father, how are we going to do this? And the Most High said, I put great faith in you. You just do the work. I did the work. Out there, before I got there, was a young man that had lost his mother and his father and his brothers and sisters on the way out of town. I didn't know. I just, in my mind, I visualized it. And I'm going to share something with you all. And don't take it and run too far with it. Somebody said, well, maybe you should say it on the live stream. So I need to say it to help somebody. To make it understand why it's important to have a healthy mind. And at that time, I was in a toxic relationship. But God allowed me to be delivered from it. But I could see that there was somebody there that was in great sorrow. And I asked the other elder, who is there with you? And I asked the person that I was with at the time to ask the person that they were speaking to that was in Maui, who was there with him. And he said, and he shook his head like, well, I'm just speaking to him. It's nobody there. Ain't nobody there with you, brother, is it? He said, yeah, of course it is. My nephew is out here. He said, oh, okay. And I said, is he light-skinned? Is he young? I said, what's wrong with him? And so right away, the brother had sense enough because he was mature. And he said, hey, you got your seer on your hand. Mind you, I didn't know what that was at the time. To be honest, I didn't know what that was. It wasn't part of my vocabulary. It wasn't part of my teaching. It wasn't part of my upbringing. And you said, how would she know that? I hadn't spoke to her. But this is the importance of, this is why they have to destroy your mind. This is why it's not just about eating healthy just to be fit. Your mind has to be fit. When even in the midst of toxicity, even in the midst of someone battling you, even in the midst of someone that's trying to bring you down, your mind is the one thing that they can't take. You heard people say you can take my body, but you can't take my mind. It's true. I am built like that. Some of you are built like that. That's the kind of fitness that you want. That's the kind of healthy you want to be. Don't be, as they say, be all you can be, find your future in being healthy minded. Do that, you all, because that's the only thing that's going to help you to survive with all of the different changes that's about to come in this world today. I'm not going to do all that extra, well, the Lord said, and Yeshua told me, Jesus said. I'm not going to go doing that with y'all. Because see, y'all done heard enough of that. Y'all know, because I can't give parasites or unbelief room. See, that's how my mind works. Can't give you room to wrestle with the truth. So I'll set that aside for now. Y'all can get that when you go back to your own churches. Y'all can get that. It's 100,000 different ministries. It's on the West Coast now. Y'all can go grab that, and they putting it together. They prophesying. Some of them prophet lying. Whatever the case is, you can get that everywhere. And there will be a time when I can share it with you. But this is the way God has dealt with me to share it with you all. Make it plain. Make it simple. Cast out all the stuff. I don't need you to believe in the Holy Spirit in me. I don't need for you to believe in the sight of me. I need for you just to hear. The day that you hear my voice, hearten. Notice that the term came out there, harden not your heart. Come on now, even for unbelievers, even for people that don't believe in a religion. Think about it. Let's just make this natural. Let's just make this make sense. If you never have read that scripture, if you talk to somebody and you share something with them, and the person that you're sharing the information with says, I don't like it. I don't believe. It's not about, at that point, it's not being received. Because something in their heart, which is connected to the mind. See, because you can't nourish the body and it not. Everything is connected. Y'all remember the song, the hip bone connected to the elbow connected to the. Remember that? Everything is connected. And so you can't feed the mind without feeding the heart, without nourishing the heart. The energies intertwine with each other. The blood has to pump throughout the body, the whole entire body, for it to be able to function the way it needs to function. For it to be able to do, for me to be able to move my arms like this means that I have activity in my limbs. No, it's not a dance, even though I can dance. Yeah. But you see what I'm saying, y'all? Yeah. This is how you have to see your brain. Inside of that cushion of their brains is many pathways, many energies. And whatever you take in, it's enough for fighting against pollution in the air that'll have you distracted, like, oh, what is that smell? It's the one bridge that we go over here that you can smell the sewage, and I mean, it stinks to my nostrils. I am that person that when I'm driving in a car, if you're not that 100 feet behind, and sometimes even if you're 100 feet behind, I can smell the exhaust coming in, and I have to hold my breath. I'm like, oh, I'll be glad when they go ahead and move that toxic vehicle out the way. I can smell all that. That's how my system is. Even before I became as healthy as I am now, I could smell. I had high senses. This is the original way we were created to be, you all. You're supposed to be able to smell. You're supposed to be able to see. But this means that also that your mind, your brain is supposed to be able to put two and two together when something makes sense and when something doesn't. And unfortunately, due to knowledge that's out here today, and there is the scripture says that you can be in a place where you're forever learning but never coming to the knowledge of the truth. Oh, isn't that deep? Where you can get knowledge, you can acquire knowledge and share it with other people, but it doesn't become your truth until you start applying it to yourself. Did y'all get that? This is what will help free your mind. This is what allow you to have a freedom. Dome is the brain. What's inside of your dome? On this Wellness Wednesday, I want to encourage you all to don't let nobody take your dome. Don't let nobody take your mind. I know the effects that it has on people when this happens. Don't let anybody judge you for what you may eat and drink to the point to where it causes you to lose your mind. You just take one day at a time and apply that knowledge that you are acquiring that works for you and your body. Yeah, I said it. No, I'm not going to be giving out regimens that thinks that one fix all. No, I'm not going to be doing that. I never wanted to do that because I know better. I'm the one that counsels all of you all, and some of the rest of them that came through. I hear the different lifestyles. I hear the different body types. I hear the different illness. If anybody is applying the same, I'm going to say it again, and I've said it before. I have to, because my freedom, my mind has to be free from participating in anything that could be manipulative, anything that could be deceitful. This is not out of spite. This is out of just being true. And from the experience that I had for almost 30 years now working with people, I cannot dumb myself down in order to get ratings. I cannot dumb myself down in order to be accepted. I cannot dumb myself down in order to be able to even stay in a relationship. The devil is a lie, and ain't no truth in them. I will not. And you have to have that same mentality in your life so you can live out the truth that God has placed in your mind. And prayerfully, somewhere, if that mind is healthy enough, as they say, great minds think alike. And you'll learn through time. There'll be some that can walk with you just for a moment. But then after a while, if their minds veer off into another direction, if they start to lose their mind, that means that they're going to wind up losing you too. And that's okay. You just keep your mind healthy. You keep your spirit healthy. That is our test. Each and every one of our tests in life is learning how to make sure that you are operating in a healthy mind, in a healthy spirit. How else can you do the job that you do as great as you do it? How else can you become the supervisor on your job if you didn't learn how to have the mind to learn how to do your job well? Despite what the other co-workers are talking about, how else do you learn how to be great in your business despite what somebody else's business? And just because it looks like people got business does not mean that they're handling their business. Yeah, I said it. I grew up with a family where everybody had different businesses. Yes, I grew up where people had businesses, plumbing, carpentry, salons. Everybody worked with everybody. My mother would sell and bake cakes and sell them to restaurants, churches, different places. Everybody had a business where I grew up at. And everybody, the village worked. Everybody helped out. Painting business, carpentry, mowing, lawn, mechanics, you name it. I grew up around that. I grew up seeing that. All our men worked. No excuses. There was no such thing as sitting in front of this laptop for hours in and hours out begging people for money. It was no such thing. Did I forget my Cash App, y'all? Oh, well. So therefore, I'm saying to you all, we have to get back to some of those ways where you all learn how to work together with like-minded, healthy-minded people. You will know it because you won't have to worry about them seeming like they want you to do all the work and they just sit back on their high horse. And don't get me wrong, there are some that have earned their own right. If you got it like that, you got it like that. But don't be so high to where you can't look down low and help out another brother and sister. And I mean help them out. It should never be to where we are so selfish to where you're willing to see somebody else lose everything while you gain. That is a bad heart. That is a mental problem. That is a selfish problem. You will reap what you sow. And that's not a good seed to sow. That's not a good seed. And so you all on this Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday, this is my main focus, is for you all to be healthy minded. I understand the challenges. I only share with you all what I can because it's so much. I can promise you right now, if I told you everything that I was being challenged with mentally and spiritually, you all be like, come on, Dr. Chef, for real. And eventually I will, because I'm already been given permission by my elders and those who are much more wiser than me, that I need to, because it's going to help so many other people. Thank you, Pastor Simmons. Thank you, Pastor Heights. Thank you, Pastor Bowie. Thank you, pastors, all of the different pastors that have always been instrumental in my life, and those who have come along a long way. So thank you, Sister Dorothy. Thank you, Sister Alicia. Thank you, Sister Nura, Sister Thomas. Thank you, Sister Harris. Thank you all. If I didn't call your name, it don't mean that you are no less in this matter. Thank you for encouraging me in a time that I needed encouragement. Because it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have if you don't apply it to your own life. Thank you, Auntie Sherry. Thank you, Auntie Louise. Thank you, Uncle Frank. Thank you all for talking to me to make sure that I didn't lose my mind in the midst of the test. Because, see, they know my heart. They watched me before I came out of my mother's womb. They knew my spirit. They knew not a bad marriage or a relationship, not even losing my mother, my father, not losing my grandparents, not even losing a marriage. Nothing would stop my heart, my mind from what God had placed within me to do to be able to help others. I pray the prayer, y'all. This is the reason why I say health and wellness is about first having the mind right. I prayed a prayer at 15 years young. I said, God, whatever this thing is, and we was deep in the trenches of the church, on everything in the church this time. I said, whatever comes my way. And at the time, I was being chased by the man that I had my children, married and had my children by, and he would come and trying to find me. And I said, Lord, I don't know what this is. However, whatever I go through life, please, whatever you do, just send your people to help me. I just want to do what's right, what is good. I only want to fulfill the purpose that you have for me. And I put in the equation, and I remember it, and I'm sharing it with you all. Even if you don't pray the prayer when you're young, you can pray it now. Just make sure that it is genuine. Make sure it's golden. Make sure that it's real. I said, whether I get a house on top of the hill, whether I get the white picket fence, I'm about to get choked up, y'all. But I pray it's helping somebody. I said, whether I ever have children, whether I ever get married, I just want to be found doing the right thing. I just always lead me to the truth. Don't let Satan and evil things eat me alive and take me out. How did I know to pay that at 15? Because I'd already seen it happening in my community. I'd already seen people walking around and lost their mind. I'd already seen what alcoholism can do to a clean young man to have much opportunities to make something great out of sight. I'd already seen what crack cocaine could do and how it could tear down the most beautifulest woman. I'd already seen what being raped by somebody could do to the minds of a young woman, where she's beautiful, vivacious, and have opportunity to be something. And then all of a sudden, she's over in the corner somewhere hooking or on the corner selling her body. I already seen it. So when you have experienced these things, and some of you all have, I don't know about you all, but it gave me a heart for people. And I'm thankful every day for it. That at 47, this year would be the year that my grandmother made it to 48. In May, I'll be 48 if Most High have mercy on me. And my family, the women in my family, my mother and my aunties, they all wondered that because my grandmother passed away from high blood pressure and an aneurysm, and that was a beautiful woman. She took care of a lot of people, had 9 children altogether, took care of her grandbabies at the time on a very, very hot day, on the side of the house, cleaning up, get things together. Suffered an aneurysm. Took my granny out of here at 48 years young. So everybody up and from my age of 15 was sitting up here wondering if we would make it to 48. My mother wondered if she would make it to 48. Because in our minds, we couldn't fathom. In our minds, y'all, this is where mental illness can start. In our minds, we were, wait a minute, grandmama was a good woman. She helped a lot of people. She counseled a lot of people. People was always knocking at the door trying to get her to teach them and try to make sense and stop them from doing crazy stuff. She was always a good woman. We were thinking, will we make it to 48? With all praises to the Most High, my mother made it to 62. My other sisters, they made it to 48. Except for one of my aunties didn't. She suffered from rheumatoid arthritis. The baby sister did not make it to 48. I think she was in her early 40s, or just made it to 40. That she had been on medication and drugs since the age of 9 to fight off rheumatoid arthritis. And she was one that taught me how to take care of people, because she was only 5 years older than me. So she was more like a big sis, not an auntie. My auntie Michelle. And I remember trying to make the decision between going outside and playing, and if I wanted to go with her, because she was walking slow. Her ankle was starting to swell more and more with arthritis at 9 years old. And I remember thinking, I want Auntie Michelle to come outside to play with us. I was no more than about 3 or 4 years old, and I would stay with her. So I said, I know what I'll do. I'll split up the time. I'll stay with her for a few hours. How would I know at 4 years old what a few hours is? I don't know. I just knew. And then when Auntie Louise come, I'll go run, and we'll go up and down the yard picking berries and go find some butterflies, and we'll go do this and we'll do that. Because she lived in a little town called Decatur. And at that time, it was peaceful in the late 70s. It was a peaceful environment. And I could go and I could do that. But in the midst of that time, y'all, I had experienced some things that could have caused me to lose my mind. At the age of 5, I didn't like being away from my father. My mother was visiting her mother. And I made it through. By the grace of God is what I say. But because my mother had a mind to ask us, do you want to go back home? I said, yes, I miss my daddy. And she had the mind to take me back home so I could be with my daddy. You see how important it is, you all. Even if there are negative things that's taking place in your life, you all, because I understand that this is where the imbalancement comes from. It's not just from the food. A lot of times it's our upbringings. A lot of times it's our experiences. And you never know what's going on in the minds of another person, but you better believe that it started before you. You better believe that if they don't get therapy, they don't get counseling, they don't get a healing, that they're going to project that off on you. And it's up to us to figure out, even if you never know a person's whole story, it's not good to judge, is what I'm trying to say. It's not good to think that you're better than someone else just because you have something that they don't have, or just because you have something that they need. That's a mind problem too. That's a mental problem too. That's demonic forces too, taking over you, making you think that you're Lord over everybody else. We are not. We are all been created to be something that's valuable to this earth. And this is the reason why you will never hear me calling you all out your name. This is the reason why you will never see me get mad because you was $25 short. This is the reason why that even though when I first initially stopped in the end of January and said I wanted a foundation for my daughter, the Most High said, no, that's okay. That's going to happen. Get back into the groove of letting the people know that you haven't lost your mind. You have a healthy mind. Don't let the adversary paint the picture that Dr. Chef is out there on a vacation enjoying the fruits of her labor when I'm not. No, I'm being mentally challenged at this time. So when I say thank you over and over and over again to your sister Candy, when I say thank you over and over and over again to your sister Nura, when I say thank you over and over and over again to the brothers, understand that it's genuine. Understand that in my mind, I understood that I had other people around the world that was wondering, where is Dr. Chef? That made me to know that my work hadn't been in vain. That made me to understand that, oh, somebody cares. And none of y'all had to stand up to me and try to make it seem like that you were supportive when all along you were looking just to work me to death. When all along you were using me for show. Nobody has the permission to use you, me, or anybody for show but God. Nobody. These are the type of things that make people lose their mind. These are the unhealthy activities that make people fall off of healthy regimens. There is no eating to live when you're not living a healthy life with a healthy mind, treating the ones that's close, near, and far to you with the right spirit. Not only just the ones that's going to support covering up your mental illness. I have to say it like that, you all, because this is a problem. And social media breeds it. It breeds the fictitiousness that causes people to have mental illnesses. Anytime time you got to check your phone 100 times because you want an extra like, you have lost your mind. Anytime you worried about somebody having a different opinion from you, and now they are a villain, you have lost your mind. You have an unhealthy mind. Anytime you got elders that are trying to do the best that they can do with all that the world has thrown at them, and just because they have an extra 20 pounds on them, you call them the devil, and that they are stiff-necked people, you have lost your mind. Today I have to rise up and be the queen of teaching our people what is truly helpful, what is truly healing, is that you work on your own mind. You make sure you are healthy. Instead of spreading toxicity and masking it with love, masking it with weak words. I'm known throughout our people. You all can hear me now because I'm on this thing and it has a speakerphone, but I'm known for having a soft voice. I can tell you how many times people got upset with me because they couldn't hear me. They even go as far as saying that I'm murmuring. But I don't murmur when I have to tell the truth and put the adversary to shame. I don't murmur. The only time I murmur is when I feel like I'm not being heard. The only time I'm quiet is when I'm thinking, when my mind is thinking and I'm picking up on bad spirit, bad energy. When I'm listening with the Holy Spirit, when I'm listening with the third eye. And that's what we all have the ability to do. But don't allow people to play mind games on you just because it look like something that is not. Just because I'm passionate, but I'm not passionate without compassion. See, we chose this era of ministry and preaching. Most have chosen it because they like attention. It's sad to say. Everybody want to be heard. But it's the most popular, one of the most popular, easiest ways to get attention. See, I ran for ministry. Yes, I did. I never ran for mentorship because I wanted to help those who are younger than me. Because I knew what it was to feel stuck sometimes. I understood what it is to see trauma around me. So I understood that it wasn't so much that the kids couldn't learn. It's just there was a blockage there. And sometimes when your energy and the spirit's not right, it causes discomfort to the point of where it affects how a child can learn. And so I mentored since the age of 14. And so that being said, it easily, with me coming up in the church, they wanted me to become youth president because the young people liked me. My niece that was just on here to look like a splitting twin to me. She just more younger and just as beautiful as she want to be. And she got her own channel. Kristen, if you get a chance to get in on here, I want to send some of y'all that got children or young people, send them to her channel. She's done a beautiful job. And when you all see it, you all will. You'll be like, is that Dr. Chef? I know, that's my niece, Kristen. And she told me, Auntie, I'll help you with this. I know how to do all that. I'll help you put up. I said, well, really? I was so happy. I was like, no, look at God. She was like, I want to help you put up. I can help you do the tag. I help you do this. And she gets out of school in May. She's going in education, and she's already assisting her mother, my sister-in-law, Charlotte. She's already assisting her with kindergartens, teaching the kindergartens. And she's giving me the spiel, y'all. And I said, yeah, I understand these children are on another level now. But I'm saying that to say that this is where I come from, you all. This is what I have to do no matter what. This is not just a rehearsal. This is not for show. This is not just for the type of for ratings. I can't do it. I can't express that enough. So when I say like and share, I'm saying like and share to those who you think that is going to encourage. When I say like and share, I say like and share to those who have a good spirit, those who are down, those who are depressed. I didn't say like and share with a millionaire on purpose. If it's there, then that's fine. But I'm saying that I just want to see our people truly heal without all of the extras deceitfulness that comes with when you come on these platforms, and then when you find out that the people that are coming towards you are going through certain situations, or just flat out lying, trying to make it seem like that they're doing right, trying to make it seem like somebody is doing something wrong to them just to get sympathy, empathy. And I will be addressing that. And I do, with me saying that, before I close out, because I came in late, I wanted to give you all enough time. Before I close out, I want to say I deeply apologize, and I will be captioning this. Anyone that my number that I can be reached by is 618-388-8100. It does receive messages. For those of you all that anybody to know anybody, yes, I'm sending it out there, that sent in cards for the passing of my daughter, Najee Angelise, that is sent in cards, sent in funds, send your texts and emails so I can personally reach you. At that time, you are allowed to be able to have a consultation during that time, or just to talk, whatever, if you're going through something. Because that's the only way I know to give back. I cannot tell you that I personally received all of them. But I have to make that right, because I'm getting too many calls in. And I know what I received and I know what I didn't. And that is what I'm saying when I'm telling you that I know how the adversary try to take and deal with us and try to mess with our minds. I know exactly what the trick was. I understand that I've had people around me that is a long history of mental disorders in their families. Sometimes we marry that. And when you are empath, or when you have a good heart, you tend to think that you have the answers, and you may have the answers, but it doesn't mean that they'll be ready to be able to be healed. It doesn't mean that they'll be ready. It doesn't mean that that with their spirits and their parasites that they're dealing with, especially when you become one. Hear me, y'all. Even in marriage, and I was just sharing this with a pastor that today, that no, that spirit goes into you. I shared it before on platforms early on before last year. That yes, the sisters called me, different ones called me. I said, well, if my mate is doing this, can that have an effect on me? Yes, it can. Yes, it can. That's why it says you become one. And during that time, I shared with you all then, just in case some of you all didn't catch that one, that means that you have to purge yourself. You have to cleanse yourself. That means that you have to pray more. If you're a spiritual person, that means you need to pray more and you need to meditate more. I had to do it. I'm still doing it now. You have to purge yourself. You have to cleanse. You have to go and learn from elsewhere. You can't constantly beat yourself up about not knowing that you had truly allowed yourself to be a part of something that was very toxic. Somebody said, Dr. Chef, are you saying that to just split away? No, not if your mate is willing to purge with you. Absolutely not. You can work that out. If you're able to work that out, then work it out. But I pray for every last one of you all that are in that situation or that's still there, that somehow that you all can do that together. See, I have a heart to wish that married people not be apart, or to attack married people and married couples when they are trying to get well and healthy together. But just understand that it'll be different. It'll be ups and downs throughout that process. However, the one that got the most downers, the one that has the most mental illness, understand that it can't overwhelm and it can't overtake. And at that point in time, I highly, 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 highly recommend counseling and therapy as much as possible. Call, get the 1-800 numbers, call all of the different hotlines, wherever you can. Get that counseling and therapy. Well, what if we got different shifts? Find a way, have them to email you. Do a separate time. If you want to make it work that bad. And that's how you would know anyway if you have someone that truly loves you. Because they're going to do whatever they have to do not to part. They're going to work on whatever they have to do, especially if they acknowledge there's something that's mentally wrong with them, instead of just using one or two things or a different segment in their life to try to make excuses of why y'all can't work out things. See, I know all of this type of stuff. But I know that mental health and wellness is one of the main number one reasons why, especially we as African Americans, cannot have successful marriages. I don't care how much different ones to teach on it. You got to practice what you preach. I can honestly say that I practice what I can preach. I can't say I was 100% perfect at it, but I can tell you this much: I put my all. I put my all. And that's the beautiful thing about when you put your all in. And I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about how many roses you can get. I'm not talking about how many suits you can get out of something. I'm not talking about how much you can come on social media and make it seem like it's something that it's not. I'm not talking about how many words. I'm talking about actions. I'm saying you all do all that you can. And then after you've done all that you can, you all know the song, you just stand. Stand on the truth that helps you with your mental health. Don't let nobody make you lose your mind. Be healthy, you all. Eat as healthy as you can. Take your vitamins. Say your prayers. Meditate. And enjoy your Wednesday. This is not Hump Wednesday. This is Wellness Wednesday.